From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight,
hello and welcome. Tonight, rumble in Aso Rock as 4 ministers get the boot on a day some ministerial nominees face the Senate. House of Representatives investigate alleged lawmakers' defection for dollars. CBN Governor Lamido Sanusi advocates more bite for the war against graft by strengthening anti-corruption laws. And international peacekeepers fail to prevent ethnic cleansing of Muslims in the Central African Republic. And on business tonight, Central Bank Governor Lamido Sanusi moves to further tighten liquidity to increase cash reserves ratio by 100%.
And on sports news tonight, Arsenal and Manchester United lock horns in the English Premier League in a match key to determining top of the table standings.
I'm Linda Kibe. I'm from Abuja. Nigeria Customs Service impounds contraband goods worth 36 million naira. We begin tonight with a shake-up in President Goodluck Jonathan's cabinet. Well, it may be shocking for 4 ministers who have been sent packing by the president today, but not so much of a shock for others. The sacked ministers are those of Police Affairs, Navy Captain Caleb Olubolade, the Niger Delta, Godsday Olubebe, the Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Yerima Ngama, and the Aviation Minister, Stella Odua. During a press briefing after the announcement, the Minister of Information, Mr. Labaran Maku, explained that some of the ministers had indicated their intention to run for various political offices in 2015. Our State House correspondent Chukwu Maunakose reports on this latest development.
You must prove to Nigerians and show Nigerians that you are working. Recently, I think the EFCC published
This is about the second time his cabinet is witnessing a major shakeup. At the first instance, 9 ministers were shown the way out. They are yet to be replaced when another 4, one of them a minister of state, were relieved of their duties. President Goodluck Jonathan was said to have been intimated by the affected ministers of their ambition. Hence, there was no need continuing with them.
What the president did today was to allow ministers who have indicated interest in pursuing further goals in the polity and in the economy and in the life of the country to be allowed to go.
Those asked to go include Minister of Police Affairs, Navy Captain Caleb Olubolade, retired. Some say he is nursing a political ambition in his state. Same for that of Niger Delta Affairs, Mr. Godsday Olubebe. Not much is known of the political ambition of the Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Yerima Ngama. But of all those affected, perhaps the most popular is the Aviation Minister, Ms. Stella Odua. Many Nigerians had queried the outcome of the report of the committee set up to investigate the $255 million car scam in her ministry.
Allegations do not necessarily mean guilt. And I think the press should always take some time to be patient. The truth of the matter is that they left because they indicated interest in playing deeper roles in the politics of the country, and the president has decided to let them go. That's the point.
The president was said to have commended them for a job well done. He also asked the Minister of State for the FCT, Mrs. Olajumoke Akinjide, to now oversee the activities in the Police Affairs Ministry. Dr. Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is in full charge of the Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs has a Minister of State, Mr. Darius Ishaku, while the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. Samuel Otam, now oversees the Aviation Ministry pending the appointment of new ministers. Chukwuma Omyokusi, Channels Television News.
Now, while some have lost their jobs, others are hoping to take up ministerial appointments, but not before facing the Senate screening process. 4 of the 12 ministerial nominees whose names were sent in by President Goodluck Jonathan were screened by the upper legislative chamber. Those who attended today's screening include Senator Musiliu Obanikoro and Mohammed Wakil. Both made their presentations and were asked to take their leave without questions, but Ambassador Bashiru Ali was questioned about his job as Nigeria's ambassador to China. A former commissioner in the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Tourism, Mrs. Akon Ekepkanyi, was also on the hot seat and had to answer questions from the senators.
I stand in front of you this morning with nostalgic feelings of what we were able to achieve here as senators between 2003 and 2007. Together, we were able to put together, my memory is not failing me, the Pension Reform Act of 2004, the act that created the Department of Debt Management Office, the Pension Reform Act. As a unit, no leader in this country, or anyone that I know, will condone corruption. Therefore, I'm not accusing anybody, but the point is, we have to look inwards. Don't blame the other guy because we are all guilty. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest with ourselves. We are all guilty. Therefore, we really have to look inwards and see how best we can be able to tackle this issue.
Well, the defection controversy in the Senate appears to be getting more complex. Now, the Chairman Senate Committee on Rules and Business, Senator Ita Enang, has asked the Senate President, David Mark, to declare vacant the seats of lawmakers who openly informed the Senate of their decision to defect to the All Progressive Congress, and that was on Tuesday. Raising a point of order, Senator Enang argued that since 5 of the senators had formally announced their defection, they had no right to retain their seats. Our correspondent Linda Akibe reports.
It was a case of tit for tat. On Tuesday, we saw some lawmakers openly inform the Senate of their decision to defect from the PDP to the APC. But come Wednesday, it appeared that the PDP lawmakers had something up their sleeves and were ready to retaliate. The Chairman Senate Committee on Rules and Business raised a point of order, asking the Senate President to declare the seats of the lawmakers who openly pledged allegiance to the APC vacant.
The seat of Senator Saraki, Al-Satan, and Adamu, and all of them are vacant on the floor of the Senate, and they have become strangers on the floor of the Senate.
His point of order met a brick wall.
The decision that you've asked me to make is not possible because the matter is before a court of law, and therefore I rule you out of order.
But another lawmaker made a similar attempt, cheered on by his colleagues in the PDP.
Mr. President, Section 53, 5 of our standing rule is inconsistent with the provision of Section 1 of the Constitution. And the Constitution has a binding effect on you to declare the seat of these people vacant. Because it has a binding force on you.
However, rising in defense of the defecting senators, a lawmaker, Senator Babajide Omoworare, countered the positions of Senator Enang and Senator Sekibo.
We must not give the impression that Mr. President cannot just sit at that exalted and esteemed seat and just declare this seat vacant. Thank you very much.
It began to look like a repeat of the scenario of the previous day, where a series of points of order were raised. But the Senate President was not prepared to allow this to happen.
It doesn't matter whether you talk from now to your eternity, I'm not going to change my stand.
Normalcy was finally restored, and lawmakers tended to the business of the day, the screening of ministerial nominees. The Senate President's resolve not to entertain any discussion over the matter of the defection of lawmakers may temporarily put on hold further discussion of the matter at plenary. However, political meetings on the sides are bound to take place as both the PDP and the APC fight for supremacy in the Senate. Linda Akibe, Channels Television News.
But in the meantime, the House of Representatives has mandated its Committee on Ethics to investigate media reports that the People's Democratic Party is allegedly enticing the All Progressive Congress lawmakers with millions of dollars to defect. Moving the motion, the PDP lawmaker Kingsley Chinda said the report, which is credited to the interim spokesperson for the APC, Lai Mohammed, questions the integrity of members of the National Assembly. His observation led to a short argument on the floor between members of both parties as the PDP members asked for proof. Our correspondent Larry Lassisi reports.
It's the second allotted day for debate on the 2014 budget, but the debate had to make way for this motion on media reports that allege the bribing of lawmakers to defect from the APC.
Can we continue to sit in these hollow chambers and then such allegations will be flying before the public? Mr. Speaker, it will be shameful if we do nothing. If we keep quiet over these issues and do nothing, I think it will be a shame not just on us as members of this National Assembly, but all we have been preaching.
The lawmaker said this is one matter the House must investigate.
What we should be looking at is for us to get to the roots of this matter and unravel the truth for Nigerians to know whoever is involved, so that Nigerians will know the truth behind these publications.
This led to a short argument on the floor. Immediately afterwards, the Speaker ruled on the matter.
Honorable colleagues, the matter is hereby referred to the House Committee on Ethics and Privileges for further legislative input and to report back to the House within 2 weeks.
The House then continued with the debate on the 2014 appropriation bill.
It says it wants to create jobs. It wants to ensure that there is economic growth. Mr. Speaker, there is nothing new in the 2014 budget that gives hope that these objectives will be improved.
I don't know whether this budget is giving credence to the statement that if you want to muzzle the judiciary, you starve it of funds. Mr. Speaker, since 2010, the budget of the judiciary has been reduced systematically.
The bill is yet to pass second reading. More lawmakers are still expected to contribute to the debate before the bill scales this stage. Lanre Lassese, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, President Goodluck Jonathan swears in ICPC chairman as well as National Population Commission boss. That's all coming up in a moment. Please stay with us.